All right, I'm going to take you through more of a review in my mind of the L35 compared to other tractors in its class. I think I've got several videos of this machine already online, but I want to do a review on it because if you're thinking of buying one and you're just not sure or you're new to tractors, it's important to know why the L35 is such a great machine. And perhaps maybe it's the machine that you're looking at and you're just not sure. I've been around tractors for a long time. I've been working on anything with an engine my entire life, I'll say, and these machines, they always stand out to me, and they are always kind of top in my pick when I'm looking to buy a machine and maybe tinker with it. These are the kind of machines I look for, and there's a reason for that. It's not just because it looks like a really nice machine, right? Obviously it has a really good balance. It's construction grade. It's got a really aggressive look to it. That's obvious, but it's really more than that. The L series Kubotas, in my mind, over the years, they are the best machines, especially the older ones that were early 2000s. Just an amazing machine that I would say all the L series in the early 2000s and even earlier, they were the machines that everybody wanted. And it wasn't just because it was the name, it was because they were made, they were overbuilt. If you looked at the metal that was used on these machines and you looked at the construction and quality on these machines, they were really, really good. And I'm a huge John Deere fan as well. So I do say equal and just as good things about the John Deeres that were a little older, kind of in the early 2000s as well. But when it comes to the Kubotas, I really like the older the L35 is really the machine I like probably the best. And it's really because a couple good things about it, right? The steel on these things, it's absolutely indestructible. The plate on it is like 3/4 inch steel on the frame, and you really can't go any heavier almost when you get that thick. It's just a really heavy duty build. The bushings and the pins on these, it's all construction grade, and they just don't wear out. Like, you do not find a bushing or a pin on these that's worn out unless the machine's got over 3,000 hours on it. This one has about 1,500 hours. So all the bushings, all the pins, they're super tight still. The grease fittings on these, they never ever clog from the original ones you buy. They are high quality, always take grease. Never, the fittings and the bushings never dry out. Absolutely super easy to maintain. The other part of this, why it's such a great machine, is that this Kubota diesel that's in these machines, they are extremely durable and reliable, smooth, quiet running, and then also the glide shift transmission is just indestructible. These do not break. The glide shifts, you can run them all day long, and you can run this machine every day at a construction site, and it just does not affect the machine, right? It just keeps going. They run cool. The motors run smooth. Plenty of horsepower. Another big reason I like this machine is because the L35 is a 35 horsepower machine at about 6,000 pounds. The operating weight's about 6,000, give or take 500 pounds, depending on what you have for an attachment. So let's say, it's 6,500 pounds, it's 35 horsepower, and you got the power shift transmission, the power glide. You're not a hydrostatic transmission at this point, so you don't lose any of the horsepower to the hydrostatic transmission, which is really key because if you talk about horsepower in drivetrains, when you introduce hydrostatic, yeah, it's a little easier to operate perhaps for some people, but you're going to lose, a significant amount of horsepower to that hydrostatic transmission just to power it properly. So you don't have that problem here because you've got a clutch and you've got a power glide transmission, so you can shift on the go without the clutch. And then you have a forward and reverser on the column, which tells the machine if you want to go forward and or reverse, right? So real easy to operate, no power loss, perfect size horsepower for the weight. The power to weight ratio is perfect on these, and they just are indestructible machines. So I think I've probably said enough at this point. If you're thinking of buying one, I think you'll be happy. I know you'll be happy with it. Definitely recommend the L35 and any of the older L series Kubotas. The new ones I'm sure are fine as well. I don't have as much experience with the newer the L series, but the older Ls, like the 2000s, especially the L35, just a great all-around machine.